Sleep is the perfect thing for you to work on this year. It is the perfect New Year's resolution. Imagine a life where you wake up every day and you feel energized, and you go to work and you're not tired, and you say, wow, I had an amazing sleep last night. That's the thing we're gonna work on today, because I didn't have it last night and it now became a New Year's resolution that I will accomplish. But in all jokes aside, I am pretty good with sleep. I do a lot of things, including my full-time job, my CFA studying, and my YouTube channel. So the few things that I can control to make sure that I get enough rest and feel energized, like sleep, I make sure I put a lot of focus on it so I get better at it. So I've read a little bit about it. I read Why We Sleep, amazing book recommended about learning all the ins and outs of sleeping and how you can make it better. And I've applied a few of the tips that they've given me in that book into my everyday, and those are the ones I'm gonna share with you. And I'm not gonna give you the basic ones like you shouldn't be on your phone right before you go to bed. No, I'm gonna give you the ones that I think are a little different and the ones that I've applied that you might have not heard of yet. And hopefully they will work for you as well. Let's get to it. Just put my sleeves up, make it official. So my first 3 tips, and kind of the big important ones for me now, are actually deadlines. They're times of the day that I stop doing certain things. So the first one is 2 p.m. and that's a deadline that I have of not having any more coffee. You probably heard this before, but the reason for this is because the half-life, so the amount of time that it takes for the caffeine to leave your body when you have a cup of coffee, is 5 hours for you to get rid of half of a cup. So for you to actually get rid of a full cup of coffee, it takes you around 10 hours. So 2 p.m. is a good deadline because if you're going to bed at 10 to 12, only after that amount of hours, you're gonna have the full caffeine out of your body and not affecting you going to sleep. I try to keep it to 1 cup of coffee a day and I have it in the morning so this doesn't become an issue. But the next deadline is 3 p.m. And this one, it's even harder because that's the deadline of you taking a nap. So, 3 p.m. you're usually still at work, but has it ever happened to you that you get home from work and you sit on the couch to look at your phone and you end up taking a nap from 6 to 8 p.m.? Yeah, that happens to me all the time. And the thing that I do is that I avoid the couch. I just don't sit down because I know that happens. But besides to that point, the best thing you can do is if you want to take a nap after 3 p.m., just push through until the sun goes down and just go to bed early. If you take a nap after 3 p.m., it's just gonna mess up your circadian rhythm and you're actually gonna feel more tired and have even of a harder time going to bed that night. So the best thing to do is to push through. And the last deadline is 7 p.m. And this one is also kind of hard because that's a deadline of when you should be having dinner by. Having dinner by 7 p.m. means that you give your body around 2 to 3 or even 4 hours to process the food that you ate before you go to bed. This can be hard, especially if you're someone like me that lives in Miami where the sun goes down pretty late most of the year, but it really helps you because you feel more light by the time that you go to bed. And if you're also someone like me, it might help you with your acid reflux. But yeah, those are the 3 deadlines. But the other 2 tips that are not deadlines but are also important and things that have worked for me. The first one, I call it the 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. And there's just a few things that I try to avoid between the hours of 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. The first one is social media. So I always say this, but I actually really like social media. I make YouTube videos. I love Instagram. I love Instagram Reels. But watching that type of thing right before I go to bed or between the hours of 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. usually messes me up and gives me a harder time going to bed. So what I do is I can't do this on my phone. I just try to self-implement it. But between 9 p.m. to 9 a.m., I try to not open Instagram or YouTube at all. It really, really helps me. It's one of the hardest things to do, but it's one of the things that helps me the most. And then not related to sleep, but waking up at 6 or 7 or whatever, and not looking at social media as soon as I wake up also helps me. That's kind of a plus. But the big one is just a hard deadline of 9 p.m. No more social media. And the last one is phone calls. You probably have that friend that may be calling you late at night, or you want to call a friend late at night. If you want to focus on sleep, those are the things that you have to give up because you want to start just winding down and getting in the zone to go to bed. Winding down is actually the last tip, and I call it the wind down, or to make it more 2025, let's call it the lock in for sleep. There's a few random things that I do right before I go to bed that help me. So the first one is I try to eliminate light exposure as much as possible. And I don't think you should go that crazy of like having the glasses or of changing your lights to red all around your house. I don't think that's needed. But for example, if you're in your room, maybe turn off the majority of the lights and just turn on your nightstand. It might be a little dark, which can be dangerous. Make sure that you're careful, but it'll help you to not be that exposed. And there's a biological or just a human reason of that helping you with your circadian rhythm. You're starting to give signals to your body that you're gonna go to bed. One of the things that I did is that in my bathroom, I got a little light on Amazon. It was like 15 bucks. And when I'm brushing my teeth now, I don't turn on the lights on the bathroom. I just turn that light on and I put it to red. I also have the sleep timer app on my phone, which it's really important because not only it tells me when to wake up, it's more important because it tells me when to go to bed. So it has a small alarm telling me that I should start getting ready to go to bed. And then I also set up the color schemes on my phone, so it automatically turns it into grayscale at around 9:30 p.m. So I start getting ready to go to bed. And it makes it less attractive and less appealing for me to be on my phone, which automatically makes me use it less. When that starts happening, that leads me to going to bed and reading a little bit. Sometimes I read a lot and sometimes I'll read a page and a half and I'll be tired and ready to go to sleep. And that's kind of the goal. So it does take a lot of discipline to accomplish a few of these tips. I don't accomplish them every single night, but when I'm focused, when I'm studying for the CFA or whatever, it's one of the things that I prioritize and it does help me. Sleep is super underrated. I truly mean that. If you can sleep 7 to 9 hours every single night, you wake up feeling like you're gonna save the world. So hopefully these tips help you and hopefully you have a good rest tonight. See you on the other side. Peace.